people with that background of having been, having parents and grandparents who were enslaved, they really had a work ethic when they came out of that, out of bondage. They really had a desire to be somebody and better themselves, and to make a difference and to make a mark, and to change the perception of Black people, to change it in other people's eyes, because there were so many stereotypes and so much wrong information about Blacks, that in school, and this was in the 50s when I was in school, grade school and high school, our teachers would stress that we should always be a credit to our race, surprise people by the way we talked, by our good manners, by the way we treated one another, and by our excellence in our speech and everything. That was stressed to us. And I think it was because the schools and the churches worked so closely together. See, we were all we had. We couldn't venture out. We were all we had. It was like a city within a city. We had our own schools, our own churches, our own stores, that we frequented. We had entertainment. North 9th Street in Fort Smith, that was the hub. That was where things happened. They had restaurants, they had a pool hall, they had a nightclub, they had a drugstore, there were beauty shops and barber shops, and it was just a thriving community because we had to depend on one another, and we did. In churches, that was where people got their self-respect. They felt like somebody. But if you're working all week in someone's kitchen or taking care of the White communities, all week long you were Sally, or you were Uncle, or you were Boy, and then Sunday, when you get up and you put on your best Sunday clothes, your hat, your gloves, your suits and ties with the men, and then you go to church and you're a deacon so-and-so, and your brother this, or minister, or missionaries. It made you feel like a person. It made you feel like a person. And then, after integration, it kind of fell apart. It kind of scattered. And a lot of Black people feel like that it didn't really help us that much. Because now, and we thought it was so great that now we can go to this place and that place. We can go to a restaurant and we can sit down and eat, and but it broke that bond, that we had. That was just a transition period, sure. Because now, I have friends. I just have friends. I don't have white friends, Black friends, Indian friends, I have friends, and I have many, many friends. And that's why I say relationship building is what's important. Because once you build a relationship and get to know a person, but hey, you realize, hey, there's no difference. We're all the same. We all want what's best for our families. We all want our children to get good education. We want to be able to own a home, to get a good job, to take care of our families. We all want the same things. We want the same thing. Because we had so many people that even lost their lives during the Civil Rights Movement. I mean, young white children from college that were right in with the Freedom Riders, and all those cities, they put their lives on the line right with their Black brothers and sisters, and that's what it takes. All of us working together. But what's right? Just do what's right. And so I think it's so important that we know Black history, because there's really no such thing as Black history. There's just knowing history, knowing your history, your true history. Nothing that's just trying to show one race over another, but just what it is. Just call it like it is. But another thing I think is so important about knowing Black history and being involved with all cultures and all ethnic groups It's educational. It's that you miss half an education. You think you're educated if you have never been around people? So it's educational, and it's just wonderful how far we have come. We've come a long way, and that's a great thing.